The story settings in Stuttgart, Germany, a place to pause in the midst of our crazy travels. But if you've ever traveled, you know it never goes as planned. My Norwegian exchange friend and I would daydream about packing up a backpack and traveling around Europe. No one believed it would happen, but we were determined. Many jobs, 9 months later, I nervously packed a backpack and got on a plane to Europe. The daydreams became a reality. Nora and I traveled for 2 weeks to a mountain cabin in Geilo and a lake cabin in Jevnaker. We visited two of our friends in the artsy city of Hamburg, Germany, trained over to the historical city of Berlin, met some great guys on our train ride, and toured the ridiculously beautiful city of Prague in the Czech Republic. Had an unexpected night stay in the romantic Salzburg, Austria, and chaotically made it to the incredible canal city of Venice. We rested in the eastern city of Ancona, Italy, and managed to fall in love with Rome in 3 short days. Toured the Vatican City, home of the Pope, and ran through the museum of thousands of years of art and history, posed next to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and on last-minute recommendation, we trained to the breathtaking Cinque Terre, visited the rainy Alps city of Luzerne and Zurich, Switzerland, and finally, after 6 exhausting but fun weeks, we needed a comfy house to crash at, and in such perfect timing, we reached Stuttgart. When we planned to visit our friends, we would give them a time and date that our train would hopefully arrive at. Nora and I were unable to get in touch with our Stuttgart friend Federica prior to leaving Switzerland, but we still got on the train and left for our next destination. It was 8 p.m. when we arrived at the station, and Freddie was not at the platform. At this point in our trip, we were accustomed to things going wrong, so we didn't panic. We walked around and waited. Neither of us had her phone number, which in hindsight was pretty reckless, so we went to the internet. We desperately began to email and Facebook her. After 2 hours, we were confident that we would not be staying with Freddie that night. At 10 p.m., the coffee shop that provided the Wi-Fi kicked us out. I just managed to pull up a list of hostels that we could call. After figuring out the stupid German payphones, I called each hostel. I had 3 different responses for all 8 hostels I dialed. The first, "We're full." The second, "It's too late." And one man just yelled, "No!" and hung up the phone. Hostels were out of the question. So we went to the second option any backpacker has, bumming the trains. Since we had unlimited train pass, we could take any train going through the station. The lady at the ticket info counter didn't speak any English except the phrase, "No English." After sign language and the bits of German we knew, we very slowly discovered that there was only one train coming through, a 2 a.m. high-speed to Paris, and an additional $100. We thanked her and moved on to the next option. I noticed when we arrived there was a hotel within the train station. Hoping it would be affordable, we checked it out. The cheapest room was $150. Yeah, right. We'd been staying in places for free or cheap hostels for $35 a night. After pathetically pleading the woman for a lower price, she told us that there was a cheaper hotel up the street for about $100, so we reluctantly settled. Before leaving for our luxurious hotel room, we decided to buy some food. A common rule when backpacking is that all other backpackers are potential friends. Nora spotted 2 guys and shouted, "Backpackers!" The 2 boys were headed to the airport and then to Thailand, and the girl, Olia, was seeing them off. We eventually spilled our unfortunate story. The girl paused for a second and pulled out her phone. A few minutes later, she said, "If you want, my house is open for tonight. I promise I'm normal, and my parents said it's okay. I was just traveling in India with my sister, and we were in the same position. I'd hate for you guys to spend all that money." Nora and I looked at each other. Before I could question her offer, I blurted out, "Are you absolutely certain? Because we will say yes." Next thing we knew, we were on the U-Bahn train to her house. Olia looked innocent. She was a small blonde girl with a radiating charm about her. Before we fell asleep, Nora looked at me and said, "I hope your gut feeling's a good one." The next morning was slightly awkward, as you can imagine. Olia pleasantly woke us up to a prepared breakfast. Her parents are from Latvia and didn't speak a lick of English, but once again, we still managed to understand each other. To understand how incredible our breakfast was, you'd have to know Nora and I were on a poor man's budget. Our meals for weeks consisted of bread, cheese, and apples. A typical European breakfast includes the whole family, a large basket of various types of rolls, and specifically, in southern Germany, pretzels for breakfast. The table was covered in bread, cheese, fruits, and spreads like jam, mustard, butter, and Nutella. After breakfast, Olia invited us to play volleyball. I've been a volleyball player my whole life, so the invitation was quite a surprise. Olia wanted to show us downtown Stuttgart, so we walked around the city, got a personal tour, and took a short nap in the city central park. Just when we thought our day had reached its peak, Olia shyly said, "Well, if you girls want, we're having a neighborhood dinner in a few hours, and you 2 are invited." Of course we said yes. Olia was an angel. Nora and I had to pinch each other throughout the day to remember just how fortunate we were to meet such a wonderful stranger. Whenever we thanked Olia, she responded, "This is just as fun for me. I had no plans this weekend." The meal was once again over the top, packed with different authentic German dishes from all the neighbors. We sat outside at a long table with great conversation and live music. Once the neighbors caught wind that we were travelers, they started serving us plate after plate. And of course, in Germany, lots of beer and wine. We were so stuffed. Just when we thought our meal was over, an elderly lady looked at us and shouted, "Now we have dessert." I'm not accustomed to how Germans typically do dessert, but she pulled out a fifth of raspberry liqueur. She poured everyone a shot, bellowed "Prost!" and knocked it back. Another elderly lady sat next to us and told us that there was a pie contest and that we were the judges. Thank God for a dessert stomach. After we tried 4 different pies, we went to all the ladies and whispered in their ears, "Your pie was the best." They just smiled and kissed our cheeks. With the cherry on top of an unexpected day, we walked to the park that was playing a small, free park concert, as Olia called it. It was anything but small. There was police pushing people out of the way because of overcrowding. Nora heard there was a popular Norwegian band playing called Madcon, and she was determined to get in. So we schemed to sneak in. I'm sure the alcohol gave us that extra needed courage. After climbing through bushes, running away from horse police officers, and hopping over fences, we made it just in time to listen to Madcon. In the middle of the concert, we received a phone call from our long-lost Stuttgart friend Frederica, whose bus was delayed in Berlin. We practically ran back to Olia's condo to meet with her. As much as we wanted to be with Frederica, we knew we would miss our new guardian angel and her wonderful family. We hugged and kissed everyone goodbye at the neighborhood party, who were all well drunk and happy, and thanked Olia and her parents from the bottom of our hearts for taking in 2 perfect strangers. The whole experience was a completely unexpected blessing. Once we reached Freddie's house, we melted into the couches. The next day, we ate more home cooking and slept a lot. An incredible 2 days, and we were off to Paris.